Hi everyone, it's been quite a while since I've posted anything on the house. We've been making progress though. Back room is finished, so I hope the light does it justice, but that's all in. The only little thing I've got to tweak is the pelmet. I've used the original clips that came with the pelmet, but for some reason it tends to want to roll forward, so I'm going to put a little L-shaped bracket underneath it, just in the middle. I don't need one on each end, just in the middle. It won't be seen, and that'll just sort of hold it up. But everything's been done in here now, even to the extent of the ducted venting. That's all been taken out and cleaned down, so it's turned out pretty good. So this is ready for me to start moving furniture back in. I'm hoping to buy a pinball machine. I want to put a pinball machine in here, make this sort of like my man cave sort of thing. So everything turned out here pretty good. We had a couple of little gaps along this seam, but I bought the vanilla caulking compound, and at a quick glance you can't even tell. Obviously the door frame's a little buckled. You sort of see the resistance here when you pull the door, and I have adjusted the rollers, but the house is still moving. And the simple reason I know that is I've seen some other cracks in plaster work in the house sort of open up over the last week or two. Everything's very dry at the moment. My garage has always been a good indicator of how dry things are. The gaps up the top there, when I built that, they were perfect, but this door always tends to lift. This one tends not to close, and you sort of have to push on the bottom of it with your foot and sort of twist the door to get it to lock. Both my garden shed doors, I can't get it in it. The big one I can't get closed at the top. The smaller one I can't get closed at the bottom. So same deal. I've got to sort of twist the door to be able to latch the doors. So we've still got a little bit of movement, but not particularly worried. We've just come into autumn, first week of autumn. So we're going to start in the next couple of weeks getting some rain, getting some moisture back into the soil, and everything should settle down. So I think I covered this in the last vid, but I was doing repairs on all the eaves and everything like that. Well, all the vents are fitted now all the way around the house. Everything's been sealed all the way around. All this repair work here's all been sanded back. Anything that I repaired underneath, holes repaired up the end here where I cocked up the downlight. That's all been sanded and repaired, ready for paint. 2 holes there, as you can see down there. All the vents run the full length of the house and along the front. I had some bubbling in the eave paint around the front. I have some plants in the garden bed, and obviously, you know, plants hold moisture, and moisture rises and, well, it causes the paint to bubble on the eaves. So all that's been scraped down and prepped for paint. So all I've got to do is buy the paint, and me and my eldest niece will start painting the outside. I'm having trouble trying to find someone to come and do my gutters and downpipes, believe it or not. Out of the top 12 listed in the northern suburbs of Melbourne, I contacted 11. This is a month ago. I contacted 11. Their preferred method of contact was email. So I emailed them. I got 2 responses from 2 of those companies saying that someone will be in contact with you shortly. And that was 3 weeks ago. Nothing. Which means that until I get my gutters and downpipes done, I can't get anybody in to do the roof, to quote on the roof. I thought about actually getting up there yesterday and again and having a go at it myself, and I'm just too damn tired and exhausted to do it, and I just can't be bothered, to be honest. I just can't. I'm over it. Just wait for the bike to go past. As you can see, I've installed a couple of whirlybirds here at the back, one for this room and one for that room. One other thing I have to do on this room is I have to insulate this roof cavity. There is no insulation whatsoever in there. There's only some silver paper, but there's no insulation bats. There's none of that blowing insulation that's in the rest of the house. So this room's got to get insulated. I'll do that at a later stage. There's no hurry for that, but it has to be done on a dry day because the only access I've got to this roof cavity is from the outside. You can't actually gain access from the main part of the house to this roof cavity. The way all the timbers cross over and everything, you can't get in. So you've got to go through the tiles to get in. So that'll get done at a later stage. The gables, the timber that runs up the diagonally up the gables there, that turns out to be fascia board. So I went and bought enough to do front and back gables and enough to do my external repair on the front of the house. So there's the 3 lengths, which cost me a small fortune, something like about 160 bucks. I can't believe how expensive fascia board is. It's just crazy. Along here I've gone along and sort of gap sealed everything, and I had a sag in this piece of quad. There's still a sag there, but you know, the cement sheeting is going to sit where the cement sheeting sits. So at that, I have liquid nailed it, put some extra fastening, so extra nails in there to fasten it in place, gap sealed everything. I had some moisture bubbles here too. I used to get a lot of water sitting here in the corner pooling before all this driveway was sort of redone 4 or 5 years ago. It didn't run away from the house. It used to actually pool under here, and you'd get about 2 or 3 inches of water. It was like a lake, and just all that moisture rising up caused all this to bubble. So all that's been cleaned down, scraped, and rough sand, so ready for paint. So all this along here is all ready to go. It's all ready for paint. As I said, the only thing I've got left to do on this is I've got to do the fascia board on that front corner, external corner. That's rotted out, and once that's done, then yeah, we can just hit it with paint. Even here, for some reason, obviously when the house originally moved, we ended up with a little bit of a gap here. Starts at about, I don't know, what's that, somewhere between 5 to 10 mil, and then it tapers out to nothing. So there's probably a bit of a twist in the fascia boards themselves. So I just gap filled that, which you won't see when it's painted. As you can see there, the gutters, they're completely rusted through. There's a hole there. It's just bad all the way along. This is why I'm in such a desperate hurry to get a gutter mob out here, but I just can't get anybody. Nobody wants to return my calls. So anyway, whilst we're on it, I'll take you in the house and I'll show you what I've been doing with the plaster. Seeing we've finished this back room, we've now moved on to the kitchen. Because obviously some of the cracking that occurred in here went through to the other side. Now I'll turn the lights on so we can see. Now, the house is still a mess. So this side here, over the course of about the last 7 or 8 years, I've just had a lot of cracking along the bases, the bottom edge of the cornices. So I just kept filling it with gap filler, because that's all I could do. to stop it from falling out. And expected it all to be fixed when the contractor came in to fix the house, but it never got done. So I've gone along in the last couple of days, and excuse me, I'm just going to close this door because otherwise it'll continuously bang. So I've gone along in the last couple of days with a razor blade, and I've just got underneath it and fully cleaned it up right along, all the way along. So any little dags or anything that was, when I wiped it down with a wet cloth that didn't come off, is now gone. Had a crack here. There's obviously a plaster joint here, but this one always keeps opening up for some reason. I don't know why. So hopefully this time it's not going to open up now that the house is all, the roof's been lifted and the walls are all done and everything like that. Had another crack here. I actually plastered that up a week ago, and within a week it had actually cracked again. So I've got this, I haven't got it inside here, but I've got this I guess it's an adhesive, a silicone, like a gap seal type thing, but it's specifically for plaster and cornice. So it goes into your caulking gun, and I've never used it before. So I thought, okay, yeah, it's got flexible, you know, it'll stretch. It's got flexible properties in it. So I didn't touch any of what I sanded. I simply just got a bit of that on my finger and wiped it inside the crack. And came out this morning, I had a look. I know it's only a day, but yeah, nothing. There's no cracking there. You can actually feel rubber texture on there, but it's smooth, which is good. You can paint over it. There's no issues with it. It's like no more gaps. Gap filler, whatever you want to call it. So, but it's better. It's better than that. I noticed trying to get this, you know, no more gaps off. It's so hard. If it's been there for a couple of years, even with trying to cut through it with a big, you know, box cutter or utility knife, it's just incredibly hard. It's just so hard. We've got a little bit of a bow in the wall here. There's not much I can do about that. That's just obviously the way the wall frame has twisted when this room let go. So it sort of comes along here and then it dips back in. So there was going to be a little bit of a kink in this cornice, and I'll get to this in a second. But you'll see under the cornice here, I've had to add just a little bit more filler, which I can pretty much hide once I paint all this, once everything's painted. But I've got a very, very nice miter cut in the corner, and I always fuck these up. I'm absolutely terrible. But the piece I took out was a piece that I didn't cut in the miter box. I've cut it with a saw, and I've obviously cut it on the wrong angle, and then I've used a Stanley knife, box cutter, whatever you want to call it, to sort of reshape it to get it in there, and then I just filled the gap with a filler, with no more gaps. But anyway, I took that piece out and I tried to keep the end intact because I figured, okay, I've reshaped this, it's not perfect, but I can set it in the miter box and get an idea of what angle I need to cut. And I did that, and it turned out absolutely brilliant. I couldn't be happier with it. The only little problem was that because I had to put, so you can see that stick there, I had to put a nail in the top there, and then I had to put a prop in to sort of push it back so it would meet with this other piece of cornice. And silly me, I put that piece of wood a little bit close to the corner, and the corner snapped. Not bad enough that it fell out or it split the actual paper, but you know, obviously I removed the stick straight away, and I moved the stick further along, and but you're never going to know. It's still solid, it's still in one piece, so it's good. Getting onto this cornice. It was all falling out, and the contractors that came in to repair the house were supposed to do all the plaster work in the house, which cost me $4,500. And we had an issue here because we got a break in the slab through here, which obviously was never addressed and still to this day is not addressed. And we had the plasterboard crack right down here. Well, I ended up replacing all the plasterboard here, and there's no cracks. I did a hell of a lot better job than they did, and it cost me about $22 a sheet. Or nah, these were actually shorter, so it would have cost me about $17 a sheet and a little bit of time. And I'll tell you, my whatever you want to call it, where you join it, your joins, most plasterers would probably say, do you want a job with me tomorrow? I don't class myself as a plasterer, but I do a bloody good job. I really do a good job because I take my time. And everyone that's walked in has seen all the original joins from when this house was built, and they can't pick it on this one. You cannot see the join. It's basically seamless. But anyway, the cornice was cracked. So these guys cut out a section of cornice, and they didn't cut it on an angle like they should have. They just cut it straight, and the house continued to move, and that piece fell out, and then I ended up with big gaps underneath this piece of cornice here. So last week, I was always going to do it, but last week I decided, okay, we've moved into the kitchen now to get all the repairs done in here. That piece of cornice is coming out. At how far do I take it? Do I take it all the way to the corner there? Now, you can't buy a piece that's 7 meters long. The longest I think you can get is 3.6. This has been cut down to about 3.4, I believe, something like that. Struggled getting it home, but I got it home in my SUV, stuck it out the front window, used the mirror as a bit of a rest, so that was good. Got it home and put that up. Now it's nice and straight. I ruled a line, marked a line with the level all the way along, so I could get my level base, because cornice, you can twist it when you put it in. It's very flexible. I was even scared lifting it because I was the thing was like just bowing, and it was, yeah, I was afraid of breaking it. So where that line was, I went along and I put my nails in, so I knew that it had to sit on the nails. It couldn't drop down, and put my adhesive on it, stuck it up there, and then once it sat on those nails, then I put some nails in along the top, which braced it. And where the join is, I've only just about 10 minutes ago, that'd be my sister, about 10 minutes ago, I just got a little bit of sandpaper, a little bit of glass paper there, and it just rubbed where the join was. Like, the join was nearly perfect. I'm so happy, because the old cornice is an imperial measurement and this new cornice is metric. So there's going to be a slight variation, but I have nearly nailed it, that it was absolutely perfect. So all I've done is just put a little bit of a skim coat of this over. This is for like fine finishing. Just so you aren't going to see any join at all. So it looks a little bit worse than it is, because there's simply I've sanded it and sanded through colours and bits and pieces, and yeah, there's different contrast there, but trust me, that's as smooth as a baby's backside. So I'm extremely happy about that. And what I also did is, on the ends of each piece, I actually put joining cement on them too, that stuff that you can put into the caulking gun, and squished it. So the two pieces have become one. Here, I've done a repair as well. I've actually cut that out, put a V-joint in there, and used some joining tape. I love this stuff. I like it better than the adhesive webbed type of tape. I swear by this stuff. So I've done that in there. I've also done it here too. I've just had to put a little bit more in there this morning because this one was a little deeper. I think a little bit wider with this one. And this fine finish is not really designed for filling huge cracks. That's why I bought this, and I probably should have used this. This is a white crack filler. I should have used some of that first and then put this over the top of it, but I didn't. It doesn't matter though. So I've done that. As you can see, this whole wall, I replaced this whole wall, because what originally happened was, most of you will know that when you join gyprock plasterboard, you always run your joins horizontally. You never run them vertically. That was the problem I had with this wall when the slab let go. This was joined here, because when the old kitchen was here, it used to be an L-shaped kitchen that ran this way. There used to be a bench along here, and it used to run along here to the doorway, and then obviously, I wouldn't say same configuration, but cabinets that ran along that wall there. Had a freestanding oven and bits and pieces. So I put a piece in, and I put it in vertically, and when the slab let go, it cracked straight down that vertical join. So that's why I pulled it out, and then I went and bought 2 new sheets and put them in horizontally, and I've never ever had an issue with it again. So I'd done the same thing here. I used to have some bifold doors here, so I had a door frame, and there was a track up the top and everything, and I took all that out. So it left a dirty big gap here in the plasterboard. So I left the original sheet here, and I just went down to the local Bunnings hardware store and asked them if they had any broken pieces, because I didn't need a full sheet, and they did. So I come home and I sort of joined it from, I think it was joined from about here, from where this bulkhead finishes. It was joined all the way down there and up to the door. So one thing I didn't do properly, and I should have done it, and I regretted it from the moment I did it, was I didn't actually check to see how the plasterboard would sit in relation to the door frame, because I just installed this door frame at the time. This was a new door frame at the time. The door used to hinge the other way, and the glass used to be on this side, but it used to be a lot wider. So I actually bricked up the outside and reduced the size of the entrance, because I didn't see any sense in having a window that big that didn't let any light in anyway. I like this. I can still peek out of it, see who's there, and it sort of reduces the chance of anybody trying to get in. If they could fit through, if they can bust this out and fit through there, good luck to them. But yeah, so I did that, and then I found that I had cracking. Some years later, I had cracking down there, down the horizontal. You always get, down the vertical. You always get cracking down the vertical, always. I've got it in the lounge room, where I patched up a door on this wall here. It's going to be hard to see, but I can see it here. There's a crack here, right on the vertical. can see the cornice there where I had to add that in. As I said, it used to be a doorway here, like a linen press. So I got rid of that. That didn't really work as a linen press when you've got an entertainment unit there. Don't ask me how the previous owners used to use it. So yeah, I pulled out all the plasterboard last week and went down and bought one sheet, cut it in their car park, got it in the back of the SUV, and brought it home and joined it horizontally, and it is absolutely perfect, absolutely perfect. But I bought some masonite packer, and I actually packed out the frame this time, because I had a lot of problems up here where I had to add a lot of plaster, like a lot of this stuff that comes in the tubes, because I hadn't packed it out, and originally as I said, with the cornice, it would have been an imperial plasterboard, and obviously these days it's metric. So there, even though it's a point something of a millimeter, it's still enough that you will get a variance. And when I had the architrave on here, I had to pack a heap of no more gaps in there to make up the difference. But this time I've done it properly. I've packed it all out, and it's sitting pretty. That's only a little skim across there, just over the join. The horizontal is beautiful. So yeah, that's a bit of what I've been doing over the last couple of weeks in relation to the house, and this is probably why I haven't had time to do any footage. I've been keeping busy. I'm obviously repainting this room. I had to do a crack up there, which you might not be able to see due to light, but there's a crack above the door. I had to do that. I'm going to repaint this room, and I'm going to change out the colour. So I went through the British Paints catalogue, and I went down to Bunnings, and I said I want 4 litres of this twisted rope colour. So I got them to mix it up, and I brought it home, and I put it on the wall, and it looks like cement grey. It's nothing like it's supposed to be. It looks like cement grey. Yes, there's still some of the old colour coming through, but you get a pretty good idea of what it's going to look like, and it looks shit. So I'm going to take it back. I'm going to see if they can retint it, and I'm looking at either one of these 2 colours here, because I've still got to stay with sort of the wood colour, but I just want to get away from this cream. So I'm looking at either this stone path or this cane chair. I tend to like the stone path better. I do like that. I think my sister's second choice, because I always consult her, she's pretty good with colours and stuff like that. Her house looks beautiful. And we both chose this without saying anything. We both went, what colour do you want? And we both went at the same time. So, but even there, I put a little bit of a swatch of paint on there, and that still looks great. That looks grey to me compared to what the actual colour is. But I'm not going to take the chance of them retinting it and still stuffing it up. So I'm probably going to try and go for something completely different. And I think I might go for the stone path. But that was a trial this morning to see what it would look like. And it looks horrible. It's absolutely horrible. Like, it doesn't, I don't know, even with the stainless steel appliances, it still looks fucking shit. So, that's going back. A couple other things we did. I took this door off and I painted this door. I couldn't buy any there's little guides down here. These aren't the originals, but there was little guides sort of to stop the door from rocking back and forward. Can't buy them anywhere. Now, the company I work for, we deal with all this tracking system and stuff for sliding doors. anything you can think of to do with sliding doors and stuff like that. We deal with a company called Caldroy. Not even Caldroy keep them anymore. So I had these little corner things that were just used for packing. When you're using strapping, it's so it doesn't dig into the boxes. And I kept them. Again, another junk thing that people say, what do you want them for? That's junk. Well, that's coming beautiful. It's worked out really good. It's worked out really good. I've got to match my screws up, but you know, I've only just rehung this morning, but I've got one on each side. I've got one on each side, and they do look like they're sitting odd there, but for some reason, that's just the way the frame is. The door frame, the sliding door frame. This has all been painted up. It all glides nice. Doesn't catch anywhere. It's not wobbling back and forward. So that's all been done. We painted I painted all the track up inside there, so it looks neat if the door's open. So as you can see, it's really clean. The other thing that we did, I got my eldest niece, because she's helping me do some painting now, so I got her to do the toilet door, front and back, and that's come up really good, except I kicked it this morning, so I've got to wipe that down. Put all the handles and everything back in last night, so that's done. Back door is all done. It's no Mona Lisa, but it's got a coat of paint on it, and it's better than the green colour that was on it. I don't know, if you go back through the videos, you'll see that it was just done in like the factory green that they would have, you know, any door is usually painted in. So this has all been painted, a couple of coats, and it's had a water-based clear varnish put over it. I was hoping for a better finish than this, a lot smoother. I've done it all with a brush. I don't know whether the water-based varnish doesn't like the water-based paint, but you know what? It's an exterior door, it's a back door, it's closed 99% of the time. So yeah, I'm happy it's got paint on it. It's not going to rot now. I still need to sort of buzz the top of that and put an extension on the top just to seal the gap up here. I've done all the door frames here, so all these have been painted. This is the same paint that was used in the back room, so all the holes and everything, cracks and everything like that was showing up due to age has all been filled. I had to do a little patch here. There wasn't much I could do. I wasn't going to replace the whole door frame for the sake of a little hole. So yeah, what do you do, you know? I could try cutting a slither of wood, which I did on the toilet door, which I've pointed out in the past before. Just here, I cut a slither out, but you still know it's been joined. You still know that's a filler piece. Although, it, you know, but what do? You can't do much about it. So, and when the door's closed, that's all you see. So you only see that. So I wasn't really fussed, you know. It's like, how far do you go? But yeah, all the repairs here around this was done. You'd never ever know that there was a repair done here. This was really mangled. It's come up really good. As you can see, all this has all been filled. All the old where the nail holes were, it's all been filled. There was some signs of distress, I guess you call it, or it's not rot, but it's you know, it's wetted because it's never been sealed. So it's all sealed now, and that's got the clear coat over it as well. One thing I did miss is as you can see, I missed a couple of nail holes here, but I have patched them. I'll just drop some paint on them, and then when the paint dries, I'll just put some clear varnish over it. But my next job, and this was a job I was supposed to do today, but it looks like the weather's going to turn bad on me I can feel raindrops already. I didn't plan on this. I was going to paint this steel security door. So I was going to do this all in a satin black to match the handle. And I've got everything ready to go in the garage, but I don't think it's going to happen. So, so that's our next job, is to get this back door all cleaned up. And then once this is painted, what I'll do is I'll go and buy the security door for the front, which I've been meaning to buy for the last 4 years, and I'll get that fitted up. So, you know, this one's still in very, very good condition. It's a steel door, it's not aluminium. As you can see, it's all pressed and spot welded, so it's worth keeping, and it'll clean up good. There's no rust in it. A little bit of flaking paint here on the ram, but besides that, it's good, you know. So yeah, this is going to make for a nice back security door. It's got the new handle in it. It's been in there a couple of years, but as you can see, all this now absolutely closes beautiful. Like, I've done an awesome repair on that. Very, very happy with it. I don't usually get repairs like this done that good, so I'm happy. What else, guys? Oh, one thing I'm going to be doing in the next couple of weeks is, I bought this cabinet many years ago. I bought it off eBay, and it's a great laundry cupboard. It's solid as a rock. It's got doors that open, and if you need to, come on, won't they fold back into the cavity. I spoke to guys at work, because I work for a wholesaler, sort of like we sell hardware to the industry. Anything you can think of for cabinets or kitchens, we do it. And I was speaking to them about this sort of setup, and they said, this is a very expensive cabinet. Very expensive cabinet with all the hardware in it. So yeah, I picked this up off eBay. It's got adjustable shelves and all the way to the top, so it's good. And it's lockable too. I've got the keys there, so it's a lockable door. Got kids, you can even like have one open, you know, you can do what you need to do with one open. But I've got to give this a wipe down. You know, it's got dirty over the course of the renovations, so I'll probably use the dirty cloth like that I've used for everything, and I've just wiped it down to get rid of some grime. But you can see the white marks, so I'm going to go over that with some sugar soap and get it all nice. And down the bottom here, there was chipping on it from the time I bought it, so I'm just going to go around the bottom there. And we actually sell laminate paint in small bottles, very like little tiny bottles, almost the size of a nail polish bottle, for this exact thing. So I'm going to grab one from work, and I'm going to go around the bottom, and I'm just going to tidy up everything that sort of might have a little bit of a chip on it that doesn't quite look right, and clean this up, and that'll look really, really nice as well. Moving back into the kitchen, I don't think there's anything else to tell you guys. This will be getting blocked up very shortly, because I think in one of my previous videos, which I haven't yet put together and posted, I explained what we're going to be doing with this bedroom here. This is actually going to become the main bathroom, and there's going to be also a linen press slash study in there. So where the wall ends here, we're actually going to move the wall over a couple more inches to give us a bit more room in there for the linen press slash study, and that'll make that 1 meter wide in there. It doesn't sound much, but the desk that I currently have in that room measures in at about 780 millimeters. So or centimeters, I should say, 780 centimeters. So yeah, there'll be ample room either side of the desk in there, but it'll also double as a linen press, and it'll have, I hope I'm not going over things twice, but it'll have a sliding door in here, so this I'll have to go over a little bit. And then from the bed, the remainder of the bedroom will be the bathroom, and there'll be another sliding door that will be put in behind here, and there'll be a sliding door here for access to the toilet from the bathroom. So you'll still have this door, but you'll have a slider behind it. But I'm not going to go into that at the moment. It's a little bit too complicated to see how things will work there, because there's all furniture in there. I've marked everything out on the floor with masking tape, and it seems like it's all going to work and have enough room for everything, the bath and the shower, and yeah, and then turn my other bathroom into an ensuite. So I'm going to leave it here. I can't think of anything else to tell you at the moment. But yeah, I'll do another video in a week's time, and you can see where we're up to.